My friends, today I want to talk to you about something that every single one of us longs for deep down, a life of inner peace. Not the kind that comes and goes with circumstances, not the kind that is here when things are easy and vanishes when trouble comes, but a peace that stands firm no matter what the world throws our way. Too many people today are running from worry, running from fear, running from the storms that life brings. They chase after success, money, recognition, relationships, hoping that these things will calm the restless heart. But deep inside, there is still a void, still a hunger, still an uneasiness that nothing seems to satisfy. They try to silence it with distractions, drown it out with noise, but the truth remains. Peace isn't something you find out there, it's something that comes from within. You see, real peace doesn't come from having everything go your way. It doesn't come from never facing hardships. It comes from knowing that no matter what happens, no matter what trials come, no matter what uncertainties arise, you are standing on solid ground. It's not about the absence of trouble, it's about the presence of something greater within you. There will be days when fear knocks at your door, when doubts try to steal your joy, when anxiety grips your heart, but you don't have to live under that shadow. You don't have to let the storms on the outside create storms on the inside. You can make a choice today to live differently, to walk in peace, to silence the noise of fear with the power of stillness. Inner peace comes from within, not from external circumstances. This truth is something many people spend their entire lives searching for, often looking in all the wrong places. They believe that if they can just achieve a certain level of success, accumulate enough wealth, or find the perfect relationship, they will finally feel the peace they long for. But time and time again they reach these milestones only to find that the restlessness inside them remains. No matter how much they accomplish, how much they own, or how many people praise them, the feeling of peace they expected never lasts. People often tie their sense of peace to the conditions of their lives. They tell themselves that once things settle down, once they have more security, once the problems are resolved, they will finally be at peace. But life has a way of bringing one challenge after another. If peace is dependent on everything going right, then it will always be fragile, always just out of reach. The world is unpredictable. Circumstances change, people disappoint, and challenges come when we least expect them. Relying on external factors for peace is like building a house on shifting sand. Sooner or later the ground will move and everything will come crashing down. There are people who seemingly have everything, fame, power, success, yet they live in constant anxiety. They lie awake at night worrying, always afraid of losing what they have gained. On the other hand, there are those who have very little by the world's standards, yet they carry an unshakable calm within them. Their peace does not come from what they own, but from something deeper. They have learned that true peace is not about controlling the world around them, but about mastering what is within them. People often mistake peace for comfort. They think that if they can remove all difficulties and hardships, they will feel peaceful. But peace is not the absence of struggle. It is the presence of something greater within. It is the ability to stand firm when life gets difficult, to remain steady when storms arise. A person who has cultivated inner peace does not crumble under pressure, because their peace is not built on things that can be taken away. They are rooted in something deeper, something unshakable. This kind of peace is not something that can be bought or achieved through external success. It is a choice, a mindset, a way of being. It requires letting go of the belief that peace is somewhere in the future, waiting to be found. It is already here, already available, but it can only be experienced when one stops looking for it in the wrong places. It comes when a person learns to quiet the mind, to stop resisting the present moment, and to accept life as it is, rather than as they wish it to be. The search for peace often leads people outward when they should be looking inward. They seek answers in books, in experts, in new experiences, hoping that something will finally give them the sense of calm they crave. But real peace does not come from adding more to life. It comes from stripping away everything that clouds the mind and burdens the heart. It comes from releasing attachments, from no longer needing things to be a certain way in order to feel okay. It is a freedom that is not dependent on conditions, but is available in every moment, regardless of what is happening in the outside world. People spend years chasing things that they believe will bring them peace, only to realize that peace was never something to be found. It was something to be uncovered within themselves. It was never outside of them, never in the next achievement, the next possession, or the next relationship. It was always there, beneath the noise, waiting to be embraced. Letting go of fear, worry, and the need for control is one of the most powerful steps toward inner peace. Yet, for so many, these things feel impossible to release. Fear grips the mind and creates endless scenarios of what could go wrong. Worry becomes a habit, a constant background noise that steals joy from the present moment. The need for control makes people believe that if they can just manage every detail of their lives, they can prevent anything bad from happening. But the truth is, no amount of control can eliminate uncertainty. Life moves in unexpected ways, and no amount of planning can guarantee that everything will go according to expectation. Fear often disguises itself as responsibility. People tell themselves that worrying about the future means they are being prepared. They believe that if they think through every possibility, they can avoid pain, disappointment, or failure. But in reality, fear and worry do not protect anyone. They only rob them of peace. They create stress over things that have not even happened, pulling a person out of the present and into an imagined future filled with problems. Instead of truly living, they exist in a constant state of tension, trying to solve problems that may never even come to pass. The need for control is another illusion. People want to believe that they can shape every outcome, that they can make life unfold exactly as they wish, but the world does not work that way. Circumstances shift, people make unexpected choices, and events happen beyond human influence. Clinging to control only creates frustration and disappointment. It leads to a constant battle against reality, an exhausting effort to force life to fit into a specific mold. And when things do not go as planned, the result is stress, anxiety, and a feeling of helplessness. Letting go does not mean giving up. It does not mean ignoring responsibilities or failing to make wise decisions. It means releasing the grip of fear and trusting that not everything has to be managed, fixed, or predicted. It means realizing that peace does not come from controlling life, but from accepting it. When a person stops resisting what is and learns to flow with life instead of against it, they find a sense of freedom that cannot be shaken by external events. There are those who hold on to worry as if it is a necessary part of life. They believe that if they stop worrying, something will go wrong. They believe that their constant thinking, analyzing, and stressing is somehow keeping disaster at bay. But worry does not change the future. It does not prevent hardship. All it does is create suffering in the present. It fills the mind with endless what-ifs and worst-case scenarios, leaving no space for joy, gratitude, or clarity. Fear is a powerful force, but it is not reality. Most fears live in the mind, not in actual events. People fear rejection, failure, loss, and uncertainty. But much of what they fear never actually happens. They live under the weight of imagined problems, carrying a burden that is not even real, and when challenges do come, they are often not as unbearable as the mind made them out to be. The energy spent on worrying could have been used to simply live, to experience the moment fully without being trapped in a cycle of fear. Control is an illusion that keeps people stuck in a constant state of tension. The more they try to control, the more they feel out of control. But when they loosen their grip, when they stop trying to force life to be a certain way, they create space for peace. They open themselves up to possibilities they never considered, to outcomes they never expected, but that may be even better than what they originally planned. Instead of being weighed down by the need to manage everything, they begin to experience the lightness of simply being. True peace is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of stillness in the storm. Many people believe that peace means a life without hardship, a path free from obstacles, in a world where everything goes according to plan. They think that if they could just eliminate all sources of stress, remove every difficulty, and keep everything under control, they would finally be at peace. But the reality is that trouble is a part of life. Challenges come without warning, setbacks appear when least expected, and difficulties arise no matter how much effort is made to avoid them. If peace is dependent on a life without struggle, then it will always be fragile, always temporary, always at risk of being taken away by the next problem. Life is unpredictable. No one is immune to hardship, and no one can control every situation. There will always be moments of uncertainty, moments of pain, and moments when the path ahead is unclear. Trying to create a life where nothing ever goes wrong is not only impossible, but exhausting. It leads to frustration, because no matter how much is planned, prepared, or managed, things will still happen that are beyond control. When peace is based on external circumstances, it becomes something that can be easily shaken. A single setback, a single unexpected challenge, and suddenly peace is gone. True peace is something deeper. It is not about waiting for life to be perfect, but about learning to remain calm even when life is far from perfect. It is the ability to stand in the middle of chaos and not be overwhelmed by it. It is the strength to face difficulty without being consumed by fear. It is the ability to be still on the inside, even when everything on the outside is shifting and uncertain. This kind of peace is not based on what is happening in the world, but on what is happening within. It is not dependent on things going right, but on a steady foundation that remains firm no matter what happens. Some people spend their lives running from discomfort, trying to escape anything that feels difficult or uncertain, but in doing so they are always on edge, always fearful of what might come next. They believe that peace is somewhere in the future, waiting for a time when everything finally settles down, but that time never comes, because there will always be something, some challenge, some unexpected twist, some new difficulty to face. The only way to experience lasting peace is to find it in the present, in the middle of whatever is happening right now. Stillness in the storm does not mean ignoring problems or pretending difficulties do not exist. It means facing them with a calm mind and a steady heart. It means not allowing external events to dictate internal well-being. It means choosing not to be controlled by worry, fear, or frustration. Instead of reacting to every problem with panic, it is possible to approach life with a sense of trust, knowing that challenges do not have to steal inner peace. There are people who go through the most difficult circumstances yet remain unshaken. They lose jobs, experience loss, or face uncertainty, yet they do not collapse under the weight of their struggles. They have found something within themselves that is stronger than any storm. They have learned that peace is not about avoiding difficulty, but about moving through it with resilience. They have chosen to anchor themselves in something deeper than circumstances, something that cannot be taken away by the shifting tides of life. People spend much of their lives chasing distractions, believing that peace and fulfillment exist somewhere outside of themselves. They fill their days with constant activity, moving from one task to another, one goal to the next, always thinking that the next achievement, the next possession, the next experience will finally bring them the sense of contentment they seek. But no matter how much they do, no matter how much they acquire, there is always something missing. The momentary pleasure fades, and the restless search begins again. This endless pursuit of more creates a cycle of dissatisfaction, keeping people trapped in a life that never feels truly whole. The modern world is filled with distractions. Everywhere people turn, there is something pulling at their attention. Endless notifications, entertainment on demand, constant streams of information. The mind is rarely given a moment to rest, to be still, to simply exist in the present. Instead, it is trained to always be looking ahead, always searching for the next thing, always believing that peace will come later, after the next accomplishment, after the next milestone, after the next big success. But later never comes, because the habit of seeking never stops. The mind, conditioned to chase, does not know how to be content with what is. There is a fear that if everything becomes quiet, if the distractions are removed, there will be nothing left but an uncomfortable emptiness. Many people fill their lives with busyness, not because they enjoy it, but because they are afraid of what they might feel if they stop. They fear stillness, because stillness forces them to confront themselves. It forces them to sit with their thoughts, their emotions, their unresolved struggle. It reveals the truth that no amount of external achievement can fill an internal void. Instead of facing this truth, they keep running, keep doing, keep distracting themselves in an attempt to escape what is within. Embracing the present moment requires a shift in perspective. It requires stepping away from the belief that fulfillment is always somewhere else and recognizing that it is available right now. It is not found in the next big moment, but in the small, ordinary ones, the quiet morning, the deep breath, the simple joys that often go unnoticed. When attention is fully in the present, life begins to feel richer, fuller, more meaningful. The mind is no longer consumed by what is missing, but is instead awake to what is already here. Letting go of distractions does not mean rejecting ambition or avoiding responsibility. It means learning to be fully present in whatever is happening. It means being aware of how much time is spent chasing things that do not truly matter. It means recognizing the difference between meaningful pursuits and empty diversions. Many people invest their energy into things that do not bring them real fulfillment, only to look back and wonder where all the time went. The moments of life slip away while attention is elsewhere, lost in the never-ending search for something more. A life of peace does not require everything to be perfect. It does not require the absence of challenges or difficulties. It only requires a willingness to be here, fully, without constantly looking for an escape. The mind may try to pull attention away, to keep chasing, to keep running, but there is always the choice to return to the present, to breathe, to notice, to embrace life as it is. The deepest sense of fulfillment is not something that has to be found in the future. It is something that can be experienced right now, in this moment, exactly as it is. Surrendering burdens that were never meant to be carried is one of the most freeing things a person can do. Yet so many people hold on to weight that is crushing them, believing that they have no choice but to bear it. They carry the weight of the past, of regrets, of mistakes, of things they cannot change. They carry the weight of expectations, those placed upon them by others and those they have placed upon themselves. They carry the weight of trying to fix everything, to make sure everyone is happy, to control things that are beyond their ability to control. All of this adds up to an overwhelming heaviness that drains energy, steals joy, and makes life feel like an exhausting struggle. There is a deep-seated belief in many people that they must always be strong, always be in control, always be capable of handling everything on their own. They believe that asking for help, showing vulnerability, or letting go of certain responsibilities is a sign of weakness. But strength is not found in carrying a burden that is too heavy. It is found in recognizing when it is time to set it down. There is no shame in admitting that something is too much, that certain things are beyond one's power to fix or change. In fact, true peace begins the moment a person decides to release what was never theirs to carry in the first place. People hold on to burdens out of fear. They fear what might happen if they stop worrying, if they stop trying to control every outcome. They believe that if they are not constantly thinking, planning, and managing, things will fall apart. But the truth is, worry does not solve problems, and control is often just an illusion. Life moves forward whether a person clings tightly to it or allows it to unfold naturally. The things that are meant to happen will happen, and the things that are not meant to be will pass. Holding on does not change the course of events. It only makes the journey more exhausting. Regret is one of the heaviest burdens people carry. They replay past mistakes, wishing they had done things differently, agonizing over what could have been. But the past cannot be rewritten, no matter how much a person dwells on it. The only thing that can be changed is the present. Carrying regret serves no purpose other than to create suffering in the now. Growth comes from learning, from understanding past mistakes and choosing to move forward with wisdom. There is no need to hold on to guilt, shame, or self-blame. Releasing those burdens does not mean forgetting or ignoring past choices. It means choosing to no longer let them define the future. Expectations can be another weight that keeps people from peace. They live according to what they believe they should be, who they should become, what they should accomplish. They try to meet the standards of society, of family, of those around them, even when it goes against what truly brings them fulfillment. The pressure to live up to these expectations creates anxiety, stress, and a constant feeling of never being enough. But these expectations are often self-imposed, built on the fear of disappointing others, rather than the desire to live an authentic life. Letting go of these pressures does not mean giving up on goals. It means pursuing what is truly meaningful instead of what is simply expected. Some burdens are taken on out of love. People feel responsible for the happiness of those around them, believing that it is their job to make sure everyone is okay. They take on the problems of others, trying to fix, rescue, or carry weight that is not theirs to bear. But every person has their own path, their own lessons to learn, their own journey to walk. Carrying another's burdens does not always help them. It can sometimes prevent them from growing. Letting go does not mean caring less. It means recognizing that true love does not require self-sacrifice to the point of exhaustion. Walking forward with confidence, knowing that peace is always available, is a powerful way to live. Many people go through life feeling uncertain, unsure of their path, and overwhelmed by fear of the unknown. They hesitate, waiting for the perfect conditions before they take action, waiting for reassurance before they move forward. But life is always changing, always shifting, and waiting for certainty only leads to stagnation. Confidence does not come from having every answer. It comes from trusting that whatever happens, there is a deep well of peace available in every moment. There is a misconception that peace is something that comes and goes, something that is only possible in ideal circumstances. People believe that they will feel at peace once they have achieved success, once they have reached their goals, once everything in their lives is stable and predictable. But peace is not dependent on external conditions. It does not exist somewhere in the future, waiting to be earned. It is already present, already within, already accessible. The only thing that keeps people from experiencing it is the belief that it is something they must chase, rather than something they can choose right now. Confidence grows when a person realizes that no matter what challenges arise, they have the ability to remain steady. Fear often whispers that things will fall apart, that difficulties will be too much to handle, that the unknown is dangerous. But looking back, every challenge that once seemed impossible was faced and overcome. Strength was found in moments of struggle. Resilience was built through adversity, and every setback became a lesson. There is no reason to doubt that the same strength will be there for whatever comes next. Moving forward with confidence does not mean knowing the future. It means knowing that whatever the future holds, it can be met with peace. Many people hesitate to take steps toward what they truly want because they are waiting to feel ready. They believe that confidence must come first, that they must eliminate all fear before they begin. But confidence is not something that is found before action. It is something that is built through action. The first steps may feel uncertain, but with each step forward, confidence grows. Fear begins to fade, replaced by the realization that progress is possible, that struggles can be navigated, that mistakes are not the end, but part of the journey. Peace is not found in standing still, avoiding risks, or waiting for the perfect moment. It is found in moving forward despite uncertainty, trusting that the path will unfold as it should. There will always be distractions, doubts, and reasons to turn back. The mind will try to create endless scenarios of what could go wrong, filling every decision with hesitation. But peace is found in learning to quiet that noise, in trusting that the future does not have to be feared. The more a person chooses peace in the present, the more natural it becomes. It becomes a steady foundation, something that is not shaken by setbacks or challenges. It allows a person to move through life with clarity, without being controlled by worry or hesitation. Confidence does not mean having all the answers. It does not mean being fearless or never facing difficulties. It means walking forward despite the unknown, trusting that peace is not something that depends on circumstances, but something that is carried within. It is an unshakable presence, a calmness that remains even in the face of change. The more a person embraces this truth, the more they are able to live fully, unafraid of the future, free from the weight of doubt. Every moment is an opportunity to step forward, not with fear, but with the quiet assurance that peace is always there, always available, always within reach. Inner peace is not something to be found in the distant future, nor is it dependent on circumstances, achievements, or the absence of struggle. It is a presence, a stillness, a deep well of calm that exists within, waiting to be embraced. Life will always bring challenges, uncertainties, and moments of difficulty. But peace is not about escaping these things. It is about learning to move through them without being shaken. It is found in letting go of fear, surrendering the need for control, and releasing burdens that were never meant to be carried. It is discovered in the present moment, in the quiet surrender to what is, rather than the endless pursuit of what might be. It is the confidence to walk forward, knowing that no matter what comes, there is always a place of rest within. When peace is no longer seen as something external, something fragile, something that must be earned, but rather as a choice, a state of being, a foundation that cannot be taken away, life itself becomes lighter, freer, and infinitely more fulfilling.